Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Keesley.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Monday at noon, 3 and 6 p.m. and again is re-aired later throughout the weekend with the other weekday broadcast replays. Today is the last day of April 30th, 2018. And now, the news at noon.
According to the Cortez Journal, Travis Reinking's erratic behavior began years before police say he showed up without pants at a Waffle House restaurant and killed 4 people with an assault-style rifle. The one-time construction crane operator bounced between states and suffered from delusions, sometimes talking about plans to marry singer Taylor Swift, friends and relatives told police. He was arrested outside the White House last year after asking to speak to President Donald Trump, and his bizarre actions seemed to intensify in recent days with a car theft. Now Reinking is charged in Tennessee with 4 counts of criminal homicide. He's been jailed without bond. It isn't clear why Reinking moved recently to the Nashville area from Morton, Illinois, and if it had anything to do with being near Swift. The performer has a home in Nashville, though it's not her only residence. A representative of Swift did not return a message seeking comment, nor did the public defender appointed to represent Reinking, who has not entered a plea. Nashville police say they were not aware of Reinking's past fixation with Swift, but authorities in Music City say they are all too familiar with people being preoccupied with the superstar. Reinking apparently kept a low profile until recent days. Alerted to the theft of a BMW from a car dealer last week, officers decided against a risky chase, knowing the car had a GPS device and could be located. Police found the vehicle outside Reinking's apartment, but they did not figure out until after the attack that Reinking had apparently taken it.
From the Journal, photo credit Susan Montoya Bryan, Associated Press. Navajo Nation marks 150th anniversary of Return to Homeland. That's the headline after a long-lost original copy of a historic treaty signed in 1868 by leaders of one of the nation's largest American Indian tribes and the U.S. government will go on display later this year as the Navajo Nation commemorates a dark but significant chapter of history. Navajo Vice President Jonathan Nez and other tribal officials gathered last week in Albuquerque to detail some of the events that will mark the signing of the treaty 150 years ago. That treaty is what cleared the way for tribal members to return to their homeland in the heart of the American Southwest, after being rounded up years earlier by the U.S. cavalry and forced to make an arduous and deadly trek hundreds of miles to a camp in eastern New Mexico. Nez recounted the hardships of what came to be known as the Long Walk, saying many Navajos died along the route to Bosque Redondo. He also talked about those who stayed behind and hid in canyons and on mesa tops, often foregoing the warmth of a fire to avoid capture. He also talked about problems facing tribal communities, from suicide to alcoholism, drug addiction, and violence. He said he wants to tap into the resilience of those Navajo ancestors who endured the hardships of the 1800s. Navajo President Russell Begay has said this year's commemoration is also about telling the story of the Long Walk, the signing of the treaty, and the return home from the perspective of Native Americans. He and other tribal officials say one goal is to address what they called a legacy of misrepresentation that has stemmed from that era. Before research and planning began for this year's events, there were only 2 known copies of the historic treaty. The whereabouts of one is now a mystery, and the other has been kept by the National Archives and Records Administration. The 3rd copy turned up only recently when the relatives of a peace commissioner who was involved in the negotiation and signing of the treaty in 1868 found the document in a trunk in the family attic. Pages of that copy will be on display starting in June at the Bosque Redondo Memorial near Fort Sumner, New Mexico. The leaders of the Navajo Nation's 3 branches of government signed a proclamation earlier this year declaring 2018 as the year of the treaty, and the tribe launched a website. The commemoration also includes a day of prayer across the Navajo Nation, cultural nights, tours of the tribal council chambers, and a run that will span more than 400 miles from Fort Sumner to the Navajo capital.
Reported by the Cortez Journal with a photo from the AP file. The potential investors of a coal-fired power plant in northern Arizona have been identified as a New York-based firm that focuses on distressed companies and one of its subsidiaries in the utility business. The Navajo Generating Station near Page is set to close in December 2019 unless a new owner is found, costing hundreds of good-paying jobs on the Navajo and Hopi reservations. The investment banking firm Lazard Freres has been leading the search for a new buyer after being hired by the plant's sole coal supplier, Peabody Energy Incorporated. The potential buyers were identified publicly for the first time this week as Avenue Capital Group and Deerfield, Illinois-based Middle River Power. The information came in emails between a Lazard representative and the general manager of the Central Arizona Project, who were trying to set up a meeting to talk about power purchase agreements. The emails were shared by the Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis, a nonprofit research group that has been following the coal industry. A spokeswoman for the Central Arizona Project confirmed their authenticity. Lazard has said prolonging the life of the plant would hinge on the willingness of current owners in the Central Arizona Project to buy power after 2019, a long-term lease with the Navajo Nation, a coal supply agreement, and spending less to operate the plant. The current owners decided to close it because natural gas was cheaper. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey signed legislation this week exempting coal used at the Navajo Generating Station from the state sales tax to make it more attractive for a new buyer.
From the Journal, Photo Credit Durango Herald file, Colorado has revoked a radioactive materials license for the proposed Pinyon Ridge uranium mill near the Dolores River after a court ruling recommended that it be denied. But the company planning the project said it will continue to pursue the mill. The decision to pull the license came after a 5-year legal challenge from environmental groups including the Sheep Mountain Alliance, Rocky Mountain Wild, and Center for Biologic Diversity. The groups have long opposed a plan hatched in 2009 by Energy Fuels Inc. of Toronto, Canada, to build a uranium mill on 880 acres in Paradox Valley, west of Nucla in Montrose County. They filed a legal challenge against a key radioactive materials license for the project that was granted in 2013 by the Colorado Department of Health and Environment. Energy Fuels has since sold the assets of the mill project, including the radioactive license, a company spokesman said last Friday. Documents show the license was being held by Pinyon Ridge Resources Corporation. On April 17th, District Court Judge Richard W. Dana recommended that the proposed mill's radioactive license be revoked after concluding that Energy Fuels failed to demonstrate adequate environmental protections, including prevention of wind-dispersed radioactive materials, contamination of groundwater, and protection of plants and wildlife. The ruling also questioned whether there was adequate water to operate the mill and tailings ponds. 2 days later, in an April 26 letter, the Colorado Department of Health informed Pinyon Ridge CEO George Glazier that its radioactive materials license has been revoked. Although the department believes the original decision on the license application was appropriate, the department has elected not to challenge Judge Dana's decision. As such, this decision provides the department with the rationale to revoke the license, wrote Jennifer Opilia, Radiation Program Manager for the Health Department's Hazardous Materials Division. This is the second time CDPHE granted, then revoked the radioactive license for Pinyon Ridge. After it was granted in 2011, environmental groups challenged it, pointing out that the state had not held a public hearing as required. A judge agreed and invalidated the permit. After a 5-day hearing in Nucla, the state reapproved the license in 2013, which was again revoked this week. George Glazier, CEO of Pinyon Ridge Resources Corporation, told the Journal on Friday that Pinyon would benefit Colorado and the nation. He disagrees with the ruling that the mill plan did not meet environmental standards. The company is considering whether to appeal the decision to pull the license or start the process over again and reapply. Glazier said the operation would employ 85 people and estimates another 400 jobs would be created to mine and truck the ore to the mill. The only conventional uranium mill that is operating in the country is the White Mesa Mill south of Blanding, Utah. It is owned by Energy Fuels.
Reported by the Cortez Journal with a photo from the Durango Herald file. 5 juveniles that escaped a youth detention center in Durango on Friday have been captured and returned, and a 21-year-old man who conspired to break the youths out of the center is now in police custody. Calls to the Durango Police Department, the law enforcement agency handling the case, in an effort to obtain the identity of the 21-year-old man suspected of orchestrating the breakout, were not returned Sunday. The Denier Youth Services Center holds troubled males and females between the ages of 10 and 21 with a history of delinquent behavior, mental health issues, substance abuse, or trauma, among other issues, according to its website. The center has the capacity for about 28 youths. On Friday afternoon, a 21-year-old man outside the facility calculatingly watched the routine of staff conducting perimeter searches, Mo said. When staff wasn't looking, the man snuck up to the chain-link fence around the center and cut links to allow the juveniles to escape. The man then waited in a getaway car at an adjacent parking lot. 5 youths broke out of the juvenile detention facility, Mo said. About a dozen other juveniles, however, opted to stay inside when they could have escaped through the fence, he said. Once the 5 escapees reached the man waiting inside the getaway car, they took off. Staff at Denier tried to chase the vehicle down, but were unable to stop them. Mo said the entire incident was caught on security cameras. According to a news release from the Archuleta County Sheriff's Office, law enforcement was notified of the escape around 1:30 p.m. Friday. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The National Weather Outlook on this map provided by NOAA puts a high-pressure system over most of the eastern half of the country, with the exception of some rain showers over eastern Florida and rain-snow mix from New York State up through the New England states. Now for the rest of the western half of the U.S., rain is prevalent all up and down the western coastal states, with more rain and snow mixed in across much of Nevada, Utah, western Colorado, all the way up the Intermountain states up to the Canadian border. And while Arizona and New Mexico stay out of the mix for now, there's a large vertical pattern of the low-pressure front stretching from Texas straight up to the Canadian border, with a series of severe thunderstorms and rains possible, with gusty winds to make for treacherous travel conditions. Regionally, the first of a series of Pacific storm systems will approach the area today, which will continue with the windy conditions across the western Colorado and eastern Utah states, as if we hadn't had enough winds already this spring. High temperatures will cool an average of 10 degrees across the area today and another 5 degrees Tuesday. As the second storm moves through Tuesday night through Thursday, precipitation chances will increase across all of Utah and Colorado. There's a hazardous weather outlook warning which states southwest winds can be expected again today ahead of an approaching disturbance, with gusts of 25 to 35 miles an hour in many areas. Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms can be expected to spread across northeast Utah and northwest Colorado today. Snow is likely over the higher elevations of the eastern Uinta Mountains, with 1 to 4 inches expected. Looking ahead, colder and more widespread shower activity is expected Tuesday into Thursday, with snow showers in the mountains and rain showers for the lower elevations. Storm total snowfall amounts of 1 to 4 inches are possible in the mountains. And now our local DCTV 5-day outlook shows today increasing clouds with a high near 63 degrees, breezy with a south-southwest wind 20 to 25 miles an hour. Tonight mostly cloudy with a low around 38. Southwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, becoming south-southeast 5 to 10 miles an hour after midnight. However, winds could gust as high as 25 miles an hour. Tuesday mostly cloudy with a high near 59. South-southwest winds 5 to 15 with gusts as high as 25. Tuesday night, a chance of rain showers before 4 a.m. and then a chance of rain and snow showers. Cloudy with a low around 36 degrees. South-southwest winds will be 10 to 15 miles an hour with gusts to 25. The chance of precipitation is fair at about 40%. Wednesday, a chance of rain and snow showers before 10 a.m. and then a chance of rain showers. Some thunder is also possible, and I'll get back to you on why there is thunder in a forecast without lightning. Mostly cloudy with a high near 55 degrees. South-southwest winds around 15 miles an hour. Chance of precipitation remains at 40%. Wednesday night, a chance of rain showers before 10 p.m. and then a chance of rain and snow showers. Some thunder is also possible. Mostly cloudy with a low around 33. The chance of precipitation right now drops to 30%. Thursday, a slight chance of rain and snow showers before 10 a.m. and then a slight chance of rain showers. Partly sunny with a high near 58. Chance of precipitation for Thursday right now is around 20%. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a low around 36. Then Friday, sunny with a high near 67. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 40. And heading into next weekend, things are looking pretty nice, with Saturday sunny with a high near 72. Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low around 43. And now, back to the news.
Reported by the Durango Herald with a photo from the Herald File. San Juan Basin Public Health is warning residents about the dangers of rabies. This year, in Colorado, 131 animals, 130 skunks, and 1 alpaca have tested positive for rabies, and according to the news release by SGBPH, 44 of them are strongly suspected of exposing 103 domestic pets, 55 livestock animals, and 13 people. Humans can be infected with the disease from being bitten by a rabid animal, and it's possible for any wild mammal, such as raccoons, skunks, foxes, coyotes, and bats, to be infected with rabies. In the summer of 2017, 11 bats and 7 skunks were tested for rabies, and 1 bat and 3 skunks tested positive. Also in 2017, 5 people in southwest Colorado received rabies post-exposure treatment from contact with rabid wildlife. Precautions must be taken if pets are suspected of having contact with wild animals, according to the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment Rabies Prevention and Control Policy. In Colorado, bats are known to be common carriers of rabies, and SJBPH has strict guidance for post-exposure treatment. If a bat has been present in a room where people have slept, it's important to safely trap it and submit it for testing. If a bat can't be tested or multiple bats have been in a domestic space, post-exposure treatment for those who occupy the home is recommended. The health department recommends these tips for rabies prevention. Do not touch wild animals, living or dead. Bat-proof the home. Keep doors and windows closed. Check window screens for holes and ensure vents in attics are properly screened. Seek professional animal control if workplaces or homes are inhabited by bats or skunks. Never feed wildlife. Ensure rabies vaccinations are current for all pets and livestock. To ensure an encounter with a suspect animal, to report an encounter with a suspect animal, call 247-5702.
From the Journal, courtesy photo, Durango Running Club. The 24th annual Pueblo to Pueblo race on Saturday drew runners and bikers from across the Four Corners. Organized by the Cortez Cultural Center, the race includes a 5K, a half marathon, and a 29-mile bike race. 99 cyclists and runners turned up for this year's event, where they raced under a sunny sky with temperatures in the 70s, a welcome change from last year when it snowed. Many contestants were from outside Montezuma County, and some traveled from out of state. A group of friends from the Durango Running Club won the men's 5K and both the men's and women's half marathon. Michelle O'Hara, Imogene Ainsworth, and Sean Meissner were all participating in their first Pueblo to Pueblo. It's a classic Four Corners race that I'd heard about for a while, and I thought it'd be a fun Saturday morning race out in Cortez, Meissner said. He finished first in the half marathon with a time of 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 25 seconds, beating Ainsworth by 1 second. O'Hare said he ran the men's 5K because Cortez was on his way to Cedar Mesa, where he was headed for a camping trip. He won the men's 5K with a time of 18 minutes and 12 seconds. The race's youngest winner, 15-year-old Nicole Nelson, drove from Ephraim, Utah to participate in the 5K. I'm turning 16 in a month or so, and we needed driving hours, she said. My parents said, let's drive somewhere, and I wanted to do a 5K while we were there. She and her parents, Kyle and Jody Nelson, decided to drive the 5 hours to Cortez to participate in the Pueblo to Pueblo race, which she ended up winning with a time of 22 minutes and 9 seconds. Nicole said she wasn't expecting the race to have so many hills, but the basketball and soccer athlete wasn't surprised at her win. Her parents said they planned to visit Mesa Verde National Park before heading home. In the men's bike race, Sean Fitzgerald won with a time of 1 hour and 18 minutes and 15 seconds, his second win in a row. Ashley Stapleford won the women's bike race in 1 hour, 36 minutes and 29 seconds. The bike race was 4 miles longer this year than it was in previous years, with a route that stretched all the way to the Canyons of the Ancients Visitor Center and back along Dolores Road. Each race winner got to take home a piece of running gear supplied by Osprey Packs, and everyone who participated could pick up free fruit and pastries from the Dolores Food Market inside the Cultural Center. Many of the contestants stayed in the center's courtyard after the race to socialize. Pueblo to Pueblo is an annual fundraiser for the Cortez Cultural Center and one of the first big races of the year in Montezuma County.
Reported by the Cortez Journal with photos by Jerry McBride with the Journal. A new tool at Four Corners Eye Clinic ensures that surgeons can more precisely replace lenses in the eyes of cataract patients. The clinic's intraoperative aberrometer, or ORA, allows doctors to adjust plans for surgery while they are operating, Dr. Joshua Zastrocki said. The ORA is mounted on the operating microscope and uses infrared light to assess eyes and help guide the surgeon who is implanting either new clear plastic lenses or corrective lenses that can eliminate the need for glasses and contacts. Cataracts are caused by the protein in the lens of an eye clumping together. Over time, the clumps can cloud a person's vision. Cataracts need to be removed when the vision loss starts to interfere with daily life, which is generally after age 60, according to the National Eye Institute. Marilyn McCord, age 77, had cataract surgery at Four Corners Eye Clinic last fall because she couldn't see very well out of her left eye anymore. She also had corrective lenses implanted in both eyes, and the ORA was used during her surgeries to help guide the surgeon. One lens in her left eye improved her distance vision, and one in her right eye improved her near vision. Cataract surgery is one of the most common operations in the U.S., and doctors with Four Corners Eye Clinic operated on 1,132 eyes last year. The ORA takes about 40 measurements in less than 5 seconds and provides information that prompts a change in Zastrocki's original plan about 40% of the time and allows the surgeon to select more customized corrective lenses, he said.
DCTV covered David Harrington, candidate for Dolores County Sheriff, meet and greet on the patio at the Dove Creek Sinclair this past Saturday. Photo credit Kendra Cook. Sun shining and breezy, as they say here in the Four Corners. It was a beautiful day to stop by the Sinclair and grab a courtesy-free burger or hot dog while spending time visiting with community members and having the opportunity to talk with the candidate David Harrington, running for the Dolores County Sheriff's Office, along with the two candidates running for county clerk position, Lana Hancock and Crystal Cook-Jarman. Sunshine is the appropriate word of the day, as many of those who attended were interested in how there would be better transparency and communications for any and all of the offices being sought. This year is unique, as it will be the first year that the unaffiliated voters will get a vote in the primary on either the Democratic or Republican ticket, only one, which will be held June 26. What that means in Dolores County is that when multiple candidates in one of the parties are on the primary ballot, you'll have a chance to vote in your primary. Or if you are unaffiliated, you get to choose one party line to make your vote count. In the sheriff's race in Dolores County, David Harrington and Tim Rowell are both Republican candidates, so on the June 26 election, one will be voted to run in the overall election held in November. At that point, the unaffiliated candidate Leslie Dawn Wilson will be running against whomever wins the June Republican primary vote. Dolores County's population is stated as being, as of 2016 elections, 75.2% registered Republican voters, with 19.3% Democrat voters and 5.5% in the other category. This is an exciting time for residents to become more active in the, quote, politics of our community, as there are several positions with multiple candidates this year. Actively participating in who becomes your representative is just the beginning. The next step for a republic such as the United States is to follow what those who are elected do with your money and your trust. Thanks goes out to all those who came out to participate in the process. Looking forward to hearing from each of the candidates in some type of form in the near future, and when that happens, DCTV will be represented to help cover it alongside the DC Press.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of April 23rd through the 29th. Sheriff's Office received complaints of cows being out on Highway 491. Sheriff's deputy responded to 2 dead cows on Highway 491, which an unknown vehicle had hit. Sheriff's Office received report of bear getting into dumpsters at the weigh station, contacted Colorado Department of Wildlife. That concludes today's roundup. Stay tuned for continued updates.
And today's High Canyon Country Happenings, Friday, May 4th from 7 to 10 p.m. at the Sunflower Theater. It's an evening showcasing the best short films of the 2018 Durango Independent Film Festival. Tickets are available online at durangofilm.org. Saturday, May 5th at the Sunflower Theater, listen to the Cannondalls with $6 String Bank from 7 to 9:30 p.m., a night of Americana, country, and Southwest Colorado old-time music when local favorites $6 String Band and the Cannondalls play together. Both based in Durango, $6 and Cannondalls have been rocking around the Four Corners region, and they are so happy to finally have them in Cortez. For tickets, visit sunflowertheater.org. And Saturday, May 5th is the first annual Farm Field Day at the Old Fort in Hesperus, featuring agricultural seminars, Colorado Farm Bureau Farm Safety Trailer, exhibits featuring the latest in farm machinery, supplies, and services, field demonstrations of a variety of tillage, planting, and harvest equipment, Old Fort Plant plant sales, equipment swap, concessions, and opportunities to interact with other farmers who have similar interests. It's $10 per vehicle and it admits everyone inside. For directions, call 970-385-4574. And all of these happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. It's dcpnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119 and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. on each of those days. The weekday news shows are then replayed throughout the weekend as well.
And be sure to check us out online on Facebook. It's DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.